You want to impress someone and make a dessert? This lava cake is exactly what you should be making. One of my all-time favorite scenes in the movie Chef is when Jon Favreau was absolutely going off on that food critic. It's molten! Of course, the few expletives in there. Regardless, I learned how to make this lava cake recipe over 20 years ago from a great chef that I used to work under back in St. Louis. It is way easier to make than you may have thought. Let's start off by making that batter. Sound good? Let's bake. I have two 4-ounce bars totaling 8 ounces of bittersweet chocolate. This is a chocolate lava cake, and bittersweet at 70% cacao will definitely render a more chocolatey lava cake as opposed to, say, a semi-sweet. What I like to do is finely chop it up into smaller pieces so that it melts a little bit easier. Just set those to the side. Now for the eggs. I need 3 total egg yolks. There are a few ways that you can achieve this. You can bobble it back and forth between the 2 cracked shells, or you can simply crack the egg over your hands and let the whites drain through. Add the yolks to a bowl. We're just going to set those to the side. Now don't forget about those egg whites. You can save those for an egg white omelet for another recipe. Now, we are going to fill up a medium-sized sauce pot about 1/3 of the way through. This is for our double boiler for melting chocolate. Then just simply add it to a burner. We're going to turn it over low to medium heat. Just get that water starting to heat up. Go back over to a stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can absolutely use electric hand beaters. We're going to add in the 3 egg yolks, 3 whole large eggs, followed up with a 1/2 cup of sugar, a pinch of sea salt. Next, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, fix the whisk attachment. What I like to do whenever I do anything in the stand mixer is turn it on to low or medium, start get things moving so they're not flying out of the bowl right out of the gate. And after maybe a minute or so, we'll crank it on high speed. The goal here is to make this a nice, light, and fluffy mixture, much like in my angel food cake. Now, the way that I know this is finished is once it is nice and light and fluffy, you take a look at it. And an even more in-depth look is I take a little bit and I make figure 8s. Now, if those 8s stay on the top of the batter and take a few seconds to disappear, I know I'm in a really good place. Let's go ahead and set this to the side. Now let's have a look at that water. See those little bubbles at the bottom? This is a perfect double boiler water heat. So let's add a nice large metal bowl over top. Pour in our 8 ounces of chocolate. Next, I'm going to add in some butter. I have a stick and 2 tablespoons, totaling 10 total ounces of unsalted butter. This is going to take about 5 minutes for this to completely melt and be smooth. Constantly stir it around using a rubber spatula until it is completely melted, just like this. This is absolutely perfect. Let's take it off the double boiler and go right over to our bowl with the egg mixture. Now, this is probably just the chef and me, but I like to temper the eggs just in case they scramble. I don't think they will, but just in case. So I'm going to add in maybe just a 1/2 cup of that melted chocolate and start to fold things in with that rubber spatula. Again, just to heat up the eggs a tad. Once it is mixed in, grab that bowl and let's go ahead and pour in the remaining melted chocolate. Once it is in there, we are going to take the time to fold it together until it is completely in there. It should be very dark. At this point, we're going to add in a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. This is going to help stabilize our batter so that it's nice and firm on the outside and melty in the inside. Again, fold it together until it is completely mixed in, and then set it to the side. Okay, a few options for you. This batter is actually ready to go. What you would do is butter and flour up 6 8-ounce ramekins, divide the batter between each of them, go in the oven at 450 degrees, takes 9 minutes, boom, molten lava cake. But perhaps you don't want to make it until tomorrow. Here is what you do. A little trick for you. Because we want this to cool quickly, we are going to pour the batter into a 13x9 casserole dish and spread it out as thin as possible. This will cool much quicker because it covers more surface area and it's very thin. A few times in the restaurant industry when our risotto was nearing overdone, we would spread it out quickly on a sheet tray and put it right in the refrigerator. Boom, stopped it from overcooking. Once it is nice and flattened out, all we're going to do is transfer it right over to the refrigerator and wait until it's cool. The batter will actually cool in only 30 to 45 minutes and will be like a firm ganache. Tons of time to make all that goodness that goes around lava cakes. Chocolate sauce, berries, and homemade whipped cream. You've seen me do that one about a million times, but I'll show you again. Here we go. Now, in a stand mixer with the whisk attachment or electric hand beaters, we are going to add in 1 cup of cold heavy cream, followed up with a ½ cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let's put the top part of the stand mixer down with the whisk attachment. Just like before, I'm just going to turn it on to low to medium speed until it starts to thicken up a little bit after about a minute, and then we'll crank the speed to high. The goal here is to get them to stiff peaks, which takes a total of about 2 to 3 minutes on high speed. This looks excellent. You can put it into a piping bag or put it in a container, but put both of them in the refrigerator. And now for some strawberries. I thought it'd be cool to show you a few different ways to slice some strawberries to make them decorative. The first one we're going to do is just slice it in half all the way until we get to the core. Don't slice it all the way through. And then what you can really do is just fold it over and push it over a little bit. I know it kind of looks funny now, but it'll look really good on the plate. For the next one, we are going to fan out with the stem on. So make slices every 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch through the strawberry, making sure not to go through the core, just like this, and then you can simply fan it out. The green on there is really nice, adds a bit of color to some dessert dishes. Now the other way is to slice off the end and then slice completely through for a fan. You want to do the exact same thing. Take a slice every 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch all the way through. Now the cool thing about this is, once you fan it out, you can make the fans really big or really small. That part is totally up to you. And now, boom, you have 3 really cool options for some decorative strawberries. Just keep them in the refrigerator covered in plastic wrap until you're ready to use them. Now let's make a quick chocolate sauce. We are going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream to a small size sauce pot with 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. What we want to do is crank the heat on to medium. We want to get this to a very low boil. Once it starts bubbling around the outside, we are good to go. Remove it from the heat immediately. Going back over to our cutting board, I'm going to add in 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Start stirring it immediately. It will thicken up and turn into a nice little chocolate sauce. You have a couple options here. You can absolutely just spoon on chocolate like this, or you can transfer it over to a squeeze bottle. That's maybe more restaurant-y. That's probably what I'll do, but just to give you some options, set it to the side. It will stay warm. Okay, it's lava cake time. I'm going to show you a few different things you can cook this in. I have a 3-inch in diameter mold like this that's hollow all the way through. This is what I always used back in the day. Or you can simply use a ramekin. This is an 8-ounce in volume. What you do want to do, though, is butter the inside. Does not matter whether it's the ramekin or the cylinder. I'm sure you've done this a million times. And then what you want to do at this point is just add in a little bit of all-purpose flour and then shake it around until the flour has completely coated the butter. Knock it around, move it around, and then, of course, knock off any excess right back into the flour. Totally cool to use it again. Give it a quick pat on the bottom to make sure everything is completely out of there. Let's go grab our lava cake batter out of the refrigerator, pull it out. It's perfect. It's nice and firm. Like I said, it's almost like a tight ganache. All right, now grab a big scoop. We're going to divide this batter between all 6 of these. I like to use a scooper. It's just easy, stays nice and circular and round in there. The same thing into the cylinder. Perfect. Now, we are going to take this cookie sheet tray. We're going over to the oven at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. It is going to take 9 minutes on the dot for this to cook, to be nice and lava-y in the center. Let's take everything out. Looks fantastic. It's perfect. The center will definitely be on the soft side. Sometimes it pops up. That's the lava trying to get through here. Okay, to plate this up, what you want to do with the ramekins is put a plate over top and invert it. Yes, I have calloused hands. I can't feel much, even though that's hot. We let it sit for about 10 seconds, and then we just remove it. It will fall right out of there. Boom. For the cylinder, just pull right up on it. Be sure to use a towel. Grab a little offset spatula or a regular spatula, and it will remove right from the parchment. Classic, fundamental, basic cooking and baking techniques. When you put them into practice over and over again, will absolutely elevate your everyday cooking. Just taking some time with the accompaniments, the berries, the homemade whipped cream, the chocolate sauce. So, so good. Apply that to all of your desserts, my friends. And my guarantee to you is when you do this, all of your homemade food from scratch will be that much better. Okay, we have a few options to plate up. I want to show you everything I got, plus a bonus add-on. Here we go. Let's give you some options. I like to serve this up though on a small plate. You can absolutely garnish with some powdered sugar and even some cocoa powder, make it a little bit more chocolatey. You can hit it with some whipped cream just like this on the side, or you can use a spoon to put it on there, and then some strawberries. Now for a different version, how about a big scoop of vanilla ice cream? Grab your chocolate sauce, drizzle it all over the top. Of course, serve it up with the strawberry, maybe with the stem still on there. And let's definitely crack this thing open and see what's going on the inside. Okay, let's go from slow-mo to regular speed and watch it ooze out of there. Absolutely perfect, my friends. Okay, for the bonus. You can double up the amount of batter and cook it in the cylinder or the ramekin for the same amount of time at 9 minutes to get an even taller lava cake just like this. It's delicious, it's easy to make, and it's always a favorite. Let's get in this.